So we believe that every website's reputation needs to be driven from the top down because it's that important. Because again, people buy from the brands they trust.
Welcome to Honest E-Commerce, a podcast dedicated to cutting through the BS and finding actionable advice for online store owners. I'm your host, Chase Clymer, and I believe running a direct-to-consumer brand does not have to be complicated or a guessing game. On this podcast, we interview founders and experts who are putting in the work and creating real results. I also share my own insights from running our top Shopify consultancy, Electric Eye. We cut the fluff in favor of facts to help you grow your e-commerce business. Let's get on with the show. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Honest E-Commerce. I'm your host, Chase Clymer. Today, I'm welcoming to the show the co-author of Reputation King, the CMO of Shopper Approved, DJ Sprague. He applies his extensive experience in reputation management to help online brands achieve their highest revenue potential. DJ, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Chase. Great to be here.
I'm excited. DJ and I have chatted a few times before this, but we're finally getting some time set aside here to have this podcast. So I guess quickly at the top, for people that don't know, could you quickly kind of introduce Shopper Approved and kind of, what you guys are up to in the market?
Yeah, Shopper Approved has been around since 2010. We're one of the oldest and largest review collection syndication platforms in the world. We are one of just a handful in the US that are actual Google review partners, which means the reviews we collect for both the store or seller ratings and the product reviews get syndicated to Google. So they appear in your Google Ads, Google Shopping, et cetera, as well as your organic search results. We're also one of two in the whole world. There's also a Bing review partner for both seller and product reviews. And we also have a search-optimized AI-driven Q&A tool. We have all kinds of cool seals and widgets that appear on your home, category, product pages to display your social proof, reviews, etc. And we're also the only review platform in the world that owns our own website security seal called TrustGuard. So we're very robust. We've been around for 15 years now. And we've served tens of thousands of e-commerce websites, and we've collected millions of reviews. And we only collect, by the way, reviews from actual customers. So they're verified customer reviews. We don't have an open review platform that allows anybody to leave a review.
That's amazing. And we are absolutely going to get into the rabbit hole of syndication because I think a lot of younger merchants don't even understand what that is. And I know that you will do a great job of explaining it. But let's kind of set the hook here at the beginning of the episode. Why should I listen to this? What am I going to learn?
You learn how to dominate your online reputation. And, as you said, we wrote the book, Reputation King, which is the first and only book ever written about online reputation management for the e-commerce industry. And like I said, we've been in this for 15 years. I think we are the preeminent experts in the space. And what you're going to learn is how to dominate the search results with positive reviews and then dominate the social proof and the user-generated content on your website to increase your conversion rate.
Absolutely. So I guess at the top, online reputation is basically like your reviews, not only on your website, but on Google, as you said earlier, and kind of just what folks are saying about you on the internet. And so online reputation management and the tools that you guys have over at Shopper Approved, how is that critical to my success? Why can't I just do it myself?
Yeah, good question. So syndication, we are a Google review partner, and that means that the reviews we collect on your behalf get automatically syndicated to Google as if it were Google collecting the reviews themselves. So there's two kinds of reviews. There's store reviews, used to be called seller ratings, but then Google recently changed them to store reviews to coincide with their trusted store badge that I'm sure you're aware of that shows up in your Google Shopping. And then your product reviews, and they're very different. The product reviews are obviously for the products, and the store reviews are for the website, the merchant, the seller, or the store. And the consumer wants to see both. They want to see that they can trust the store and the product. And so it's critical that you collect both. and both need to be from a Google review partner. Some review platforms are not Google review partners, which means those reviews don't get syndicated to Google, which means you're basically an island. Nobody will see your reviews unless they actually go to your website. But if they don't see reviews in search, they're not going to go to your website. And some are just seller partners, and some are or store partners, and some are just product partners. You need both because, as you know, you want to see trust in the store and the product. And these days, Google recently started to integrate the store ratings with the product reviews in Google Shopping. So by having both of those reviews show up in your Google Shopping results, you've got a lot more trust, a lot more social proof, a lot more credibility.
Absolutely. And I think that one of the things that customers are looking for these days is that credibility. It's not by any stretch of the imagination, it's not difficult to set up a store, but what they want to know is that it's not some fly-by-night operation where they're going to get their information stolen. So they are looking for these reviews, these social proof elements to kind of give that trust if it's the first time that they're going to buy from you. Now, I know that Google will organically, with kind of almost any review platform, I think, they'll pick up those ratings on products with rich results, but those ratings aren't also being pushed back to Google, and it's not the same reviews everywhere.
Right. That's right. And that's why it's so important to work with a Google review partner to make sure that those reviews are being syndicated to Google. Now, there's some other nuances, and you kind of opened up a few things here. One is we like to say that shoppers buy from companies they know, like, and trust. Well, it's not just us, but we all know that saying, right? Mm-hmm. And trust is the most important part. The other thing is that our research has found that consumers are looking for 3 points of trust. One, can I trust this website or store or merchant? 2, can I trust the product? And 3, can I trust the transaction? And we can get into that later, but you really have to show trust from a third-party resource that says, I can trust the site and the product and the transaction. Now, going back to the syndication, we also have a tool called Review Destinations that is very, very unique in the industry. This is one of our unique selling propositions. What it allows us to do is send a portion of your reviews to other review platforms. So, for example, you can say, I want 10% of my reviews to go to Trustpilot. I want 10% to go to Better Business Bureau or BBB. I want 10% to go to SiteJabber. And I want the rest to go to Shopper Approved. So what that does is it creates this trifecta of trust. So when you do a search for abc.com reviews, or is abc.com legit or trustworthy, and those are very popular search terms, look at your Google Search Console, and you'll see that people are looking for those types of searches very commonly. In fact, they're typically, some of the top search results. So you want to make sure that you show up on page 1 in your Shopper Approved certificate, your Trustpilot certificate, SiteJabber, Better Business Bureau, etc., and your own website. And if you can actually send those reviews vis-a-vis Shopper Approved to all of those platforms, you're going to be seen as a more trusted website. And we actually did our own survey of U.S. consumers, and we found that 64% are looking at multiple review sites to see if they trust the company. So if you're not showing up in multiple review sites with positive reviews, a 4.1 or better, then they're not going to trust you. They want to see that you're trusted across the web, not just in one website. Does that make sense? Does that ring true to you, how you shop?
Oh, it rings true to me, but I'm going to ask a bunch of follow-ups and more specifically try to have you dumb it down for me, not the listeners. They're way smarter than me. So let's just talk so syndication, does it mean that you're pushing a review 1-for-1 on my store to also Google, or does syndication mean that I can choose where that one review ends up? Explain a little bit more about can I put one review everywhere, or is one review just one review?
Great question. So one review from the seller rating or the store rating perspective always goes to Google, right? So when we collect a store review, it 100% goes to Google every time. Now, when you want to send a percentage of your store reviews to, say, another review platform like Trustpilot, then you can only send a percent to there and not duplicate those on Shopper Approved or SiteJabber or Better Business Bureau or reseller ratings, et cetera. So in other words, you can't have the same review duplicated across multiple review platforms. However, that review you collect always goes to Google and to whatever review platform you choose.
Absolutely. And when asking, for a more mature brand where these are issues that they're experiencing, where they want to make sure that they are pushing these reviews around and at least playing ball with some of the powers that be in the industry. You know, I know a lot of people just set up drip campaigns that are just, you know, they ask for one and then they ask for another one a little bit later and then they ask for another one a little bit later. Do you have any data or insights or just kind of thoughts around that kind of strategy versus something a little more robust with automation and API integrations and true partnership?
Yeah. So are you referring, Chase, to sending a review or asking for a review to go to one platform and then 3 days later for another platform?
Yeah, mostly through email is what people are doing.
Yeah, right. Well, the consumer gets burned out sending reviews or creating reviews for multiple platforms. So we have found that really doesn't work because it's kind of like, look, I did you a solid once. Don't ask me to do it again and again and again. So if you want to send reviews to multiple platforms, you need to basically throttle and say, okay, again, 10% are going to go here, 10% here, 10% here, and the remaining 70%, say, to Shopper Approved. Now, why I say Shopper Approved should get the majority is because, as you know, you've got to make sure that you're getting at least 100 reviews, on average every month for the Google ads to appear, because you want those seller ratings or store ratings to show in your Google ads. So you want to make sure that you're qualifying for that. Now, once you've qualified for that and you've got a lot more reviews to collect and send out, sure, you can send a higher percentage to another review platform to make sure you're getting that trifecta and that you're dominating page one when people do a review search for your brand.
Absolutely. Now, obviously talking about the power of the technology that you guys have over there, but let's kind of take a step back here is what are some of the common mistakes people are making when it comes to not only just reviews, but kind of their online reputation in general from an e-commerce specific perspective?
Man, great question. There's a lot. Obviously, organic search results. You want to make sure that you're dominating the organic search results. And one of those easy ways to really own that is to have a search optimized Q&A tool. As you know, as people get further down the purchasing funnel, and they're looking for specific product or service related questions. Does it float? Is it waterproof? Does it fit with my 1987 Winnebago, et cetera? So those long tail, low funnel, high commercial intent search terms, you absolutely have to dominate the top 3 search results. Why? Because those are the questions that people are looking to get answered before they actually buy. So that's a really great way to dominate your reputation. Now, we did another survey and we found that we asked people, if the answer to your product related search term comes up at the top of the search results, will you trust that brand more? 80% said, yes, I will trust that brand more. Why? Because they assume since Google is serving it at the top of the search results, it must be the most popular, the most trusted brand, right? By default. Then we asked the next question. Would you be more likely to purchase from that brand if their search results for your product question appear at the top of the search results? 74% said highly or extremely likely they would buy from that brand. So what does that tell us? That the trust factor, your reputation, is hindering on where you appear in the search results, which is why the top search results get 69% of the clicks, right? The top 5 get 69% of the clicks. Position 0 gets 31% of the clicks. Why? It's the most trusted. People just naturally assume, oh, Google says this is the best answer. I'm going to go with that. So that's one way to do it. Another way, obviously, is to dominate page 1 when people do a search for your brand. Again, abc.com legit, abc.com reviews. If you're not showing up on page 1 in multiple review platforms, as well as your own website with positive reviews and a 4.1 or higher average star rating, then people aren't going to trust you as much. You're not going to get as much traffic. And then, of course, same goes for your product-related review search terms. Now, once they get to your website, then it's really important, and this is overlooked, and a lot of people aren't doing this anymore, and I think it's a crime. Put your phone number in the upper right-hand corner of your website, because people just want to see that you're a real company. They just want to know that if they have a question, they have a problem, they have a concern, they can go old school and call that number. It makes you look more legit, more solid. You look more like a real company. Number 2, put your address in your contact us page and in your footer. These are kind of standard UX layouts. If you remember the book, Don't Make Me Think by Steve Krug, right?
It's on my shelf.
There you go. I love that book. Don't make people think. Don't make them struggle. Don't make them search and hunt and peck and multiple clicks. Just give them the user experience that they're used to. And going way back to the early 2000s, when e-commerce sites really came into being at any large scale, it was very standard to put your phone number in the upper right corner and your address in the footer, typically in the lower left corner. And then, of course, your contact page, phone number, email, address, etc. Make it easy. Don't make people fight. I can't tell you how many websites I've gone to, and you click on their contact us page, and all they have is an email address. How confident, how comfortable, how secure do you feel in that website when all they give you is a info@ email address, right? So those are simple things. If you've been in business for 5+ years, also show it. In business since 1997 or 2010. Let people know that you've been around a long time. Other trust signals can include awards or memberships or accolades that you've received. Member of the Chamber of Commerce or Better Business Bureau, or rated top 5 in our industry by, some industry rating organization, as seen in this newspaper, this channel, this network. Like, let people know that you are trusted, you're known, you're credible, you're an authority. These are all trust signals that really kind of go into this whole matrix, this whole ecosystem of painting a picture of you're credible, you're real, you're stable, you're not going to take their money and run, you're going to deliver on your promises, you're going to deliver on the guarantee 2 years down the road, right? I mean, that's what people want to know. And that's why people typically buy from the big e-commerce platforms like Amazon. They have a UX that they're used to. They love to see that, website security link right next to the buy now button. Amazon's been doing it for decades. Why? It works. In fact, a CRO company out of Texas, Conversion Fanatics, tested our TrustGuard website security seal on their own clients' websites. And they found that when that TrustGuard security seal was placed next to the buy now button, it increased conversion rates by 19%. It increased AOV, average order value, by 71%, and repeat purchases by 28%. Why has Amazon been doing it forever? Because it works. It's just simple, these simple little things. But we forget. And so we get a new web designer or a new template, and we drop the phone number, we drop the address, we drop the website security seals, et cetera. And all of a sudden, all those little trust signals are gone, and conversion rate goes down, and everybody's looking around, what happened?
I'm so glad you brought up conversion rate optimization, because I was going to, it was my next thought. It was like, so many of the things you're mentioning would be amazing split tests to run on e-commerce websites if you kind of have that velocity and you can get a statistically significant, that is a mouthful, result as quickly, as most people want. We don't have a lot of time left here, and so I have to pivot us really quickly. We glossed over your book. Let's talk about Reputation King. Who's it for? How do I get it? What's it about?
Great. So Reputation King, you can get it on Amazon. You can get it at reputationking.com, which is, there you go. The website we created for the book, where there's all kinds of bonus chapters and videos and interviews with Dr. Robert Cialdini, which is the godfather of behavioral science. He also wrote the cover quote for the book. On the website, you can also download for free the audio and digital version of the book. So if you want a absolutely free audio version and digital version, just go to reputationking.com, knock yourself out, download it. It's all yours. You can also buy the book at reputationking.com for $20, and we'll send you the entire Reputation Kit, which includes the book, the strategy guide, a cool pair of socks, our really cool and very coveted gold $1 million bill, and some other cool little gifts. So we call it the Reputation King Kit, and that's yours delivered for $20.
Absolutely. I got the kit delivered, and it was a great unboxing experience. You can actually track down me opening it on DJ's LinkedIn. Probably posted it back in December of 2024. If you like scrolling, but you can kind of find me unboxing that on his LinkedIn. If I'm listening to this and I want to track you down and get a hold of you, DJ, or obviously want to learn more about Shopper Approved, where should I go on the internet? What should I do?
Go to shopperapproved.com. You can go to reputationking.com. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, Dwayne Sprague or DJ Sprague on LinkedIn. And by the way, I want to make sure I answered the question, Chase, who's it written for? The book was written for e-commerce executives, e-commerce owners, e-commerce leaders, because we believe that too often the reputation of the brand is put in the hands of a frontline digital marketer or website designer, and they really don't understand the value and the implications and the potentiality of creating a super powerful online reputation. So we believe that every website's reputation needs to be driven from the top down, because it's that important. Because again, people buy from the brands they trust.
Oh, I couldn't agree anymore. And it's often not out of malice that these things aren't important. It's because their jobs are more tied to return on ad spend or sales, and a review doesn't necessarily help them get the kind of metrics they need to keep their job or improve their job in the short term. So it oftentimes gets overlooked.
Although the data, and we've got a lot of data, it's in the book.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Lots of studies, lots of research. And we have clients that have increased their conversion rate by 360%, 272%, 100%, 180%, on and on. Not only that, but increase organic traffic, by 2, 3, 4, 500%. We have one client that's increased organic traffic by 4,000% by doing the things we talked about. The search optimized Q&A, the product reviews showing up in search results, the seller ratings showing up in search results, drive that online dominance, the trust, the credibility, the clicks, the traffic. And of course, once they get there, the conversions.
Absolutely. DJ, thank you so much for coming on the show today and sharing all of that amazing insight.
Thank you, Chase. It's been a real pleasure, and look forward to talking again.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye-bye.
We can't thank our guests enough for coming on the show and sharing their knowledge and journey with us. We've got a lot to think about and potentially add into our own businesses. You can find all the links in the show notes. You can subscribe to the newsletter at honestycommerce.co to get each episode delivered right into your inbox. If you're enjoying this content, consider leaving a review on iTunes. That really helps us out. Lastly, if you're a store owner looking for an amazing partner to help you get your Shopify store to the next level, reach out to Electric Eye at electriceye.io/connect. Until next time.